Alright, so today my video that I want to make here is one in which I show a little bit about what new players can do to survive when things get tough. Because I remember when I first started, and I pretty much got my butt handed to me every day on this game, and it was pretty difficult just to even survive with like 4 or 5 treasures. So let me just doll up the ship a little bit, then we'll head out.
Okay guys, so here's what we got. There are 3 things you can do to lose another player if they're harassing you, attacking you, trying to take your treasure, or you just want to be on the run. You can take them into the storm and lose them. You can take them over to Devil's Roar and try and get them flattened by a volcano. Or one of the other options that it's a little bit harder to get into, but the Shores of Gold, an area thought to be Red Sea by most, but actually if you have the right items, you yourself can go in while the other player breaks apart and dies. Okay guys, we got the storm first, like I said, and as you can see my wheel is shaking all over the place. I'm getting damaged by lightning, I'm getting damaged by the wind tossing the ship back and forth, and this pretty much only happens when you're in the deepest eye, the center of the storm. As you get out to the edges, everything starts to slowly lessen more and more. But what this can do is make travel very rough for anybody pursuing you, especially the bigger their ship is, the harder it can be sometimes for them to maintain, especially if they have a big crew that they have to command and their crew just isn't in tune, they're not in a flow of working together in unison, and this is a good chance to lose somebody. I'd say here's a chance to anchor turn like I did at the very beginning of this video. Here's a chance to dip yourself deep into the shadows in the mists of the storm and get lost, especially if there's rocks or islands to hide apart, and go ahead and get yourself out of the way as fast as you can. Take a direction that they would not expect and just head with your eyes on the horizon.
We are super close. All right. So like I said, if you don't have this one, all right, if you don't have the Gold Hoarder's coin, you just saddle up with another crew that's doing the Shores of Gold. You don't need to have all your other stuff unlocked to do it. If someone else already has it as a checkpoint, you can do it. All right, now here we got some stuff. That's why I always keep myself out in the front, especially if there's no ships coming. And that's always a good thing to do. Grab yourself some loot on the way. You will eventually always run out of supplies, so constantly be looking, searching, and scanning the horizon for them as you go, because your stock supplies will never be enough.
So next up we got my favorite place to take noobs and watch them die is the wonderful Shores of Gold. The Red Sea that you can actually travel through if you have the right things. All you need is this little shroud breaker. You tie it to the side of your ship there, you put down your big old Gold Hoarder's coin, and you can make it through. You won't fall apart. It's not like the typical Red Sea where you're broken, smashed, scuttled, and gone in a matter of minutes. Here, you can survive. You'll actually even see kind of an aura bend around the nose of your ship as you go through here. And what a lot of people don't understand is once you've gone into there, they think they can follow you in there too. They watch you surviving, staying alive, not breaking apart, and they start racing after you, and they start to find that before they can even spin their ship back around, especially if they're a galleon, they're busted. They're gonna have so many holes in the bottom, they're not even gonna be able to repair fast enough to get their ship turned around and get out of there. And this can lead to 2 different things. This can lead to stopping someone from following you. They may just wait on the edge, and this can also end up scuttling a ship to the point that you can turn around, grab their flag and their treasure, and you have just scored yourself a massive amount of loot without even firing a single shot. It's pretty helpful. I don't know how else to explain it other than you need to have the checkpoint for the Shores of Gold, and that is the gold coin checkpoint. If you don't understand what this is, you need to hop on the SOT Discord. You need to jump into a group that's doing the tall tale for Shores of Gold. You do not need to have this unlocked. You just need to join them. And if you can get to that point, you have to drop out and just keep that checkpoint with you, and you can slap it down anytime and activate your Shroud Breaker without having to stop at Morrow's Peak. Now, if another ship does go out to Morrow's Peak to pursue you, yes, they can also vote to have that tall tale opened and started and the Shroud Breaker added to their ship, but that's going to take such a while that you'll have plenty of time to do all sorts of stuff like sell your treasure, server hop, and all other types of things.
The Devil's Roar. Let's see if I can zoom down here and you can see some of these wonderful islands here.
Finally, guys, we have one of my favorite places in all of Sea of Thieves. A lot of people hate it, but personally, over time, I fell in love with it. It is the Devil's Roar. The Devil's Roar is a place not a lot of people like to go. Mostly due to the fact that there is an abundance of volcanoes. When those volcanoes go off, they can smash into your ship, they can blow it up, put holes in it, catch it on fire, and kill you pretty fast. If a solid piece of volcanic ash hits your character even through the grate of your top deck when you are below deck, you will die almost instantaneously, and by the time you respawn on your ship, it will be sunk if you are solo slooping. So yes, do invest in this route with quite a bit of care, know what you're doing, and stay far, far away from those volcanoes, unless you have a big enough crew where you know someone can stay below deck within safety with buckets of water ready to put out the ship, and possibly the crew behind you does not, especially if they do not have a lot of supplies left. Maybe you've been in a long, heated battle. You know that their supplies must be dwindling by now, as Flameheart says, and you can get a couple good shots with just the volcano alone. It'll put some good holes in them. You can catch them on fire. It can make them have to anchor for a bit while they go ahead and put a bunch of stuff out and slow down quite a bit. It's also great if you can get one person from your ship to jump off, board them, and then get them to be anchored underneath a volcano. They're screwed. If you are anchored next to a volcano, it's bye-bye to your ship. So think about that one, although do be careful with the areas you go to, and do realize you only have one outpost in which you can run to within that area. So make it as a last-ditch effort. Finally, as a last little tidbit, and this is just a little extra to add on, I don't have footage of this because even I myself don't use this one very much, just because you have to give up your treasure. But if you are down to portal, you can actually portal into another server, and a lot of people just do not know this. You can portal into another server by simply opening up part 1 of the Tall Tales for the new Pirate's Life series, and that will open up the nearest gateway next to any outpost. It's usually that triangle-shaped rock with a portal in between it. It does not show up for the other ship. You will see it, but they will not. For them, it looks like you go through the hole that is in that triangular-shaped rock, and you do not come out the other side. You simply start the Tall Tale. And while this may be confusing for them and a good way for you to escape them, the only thing you will keep is your supplies. So, for example, this would be good if you were doing a hunter's call run and you wanted to keep all your fish. Your supplies are fish and food and wood and cannonballs. I'm probably forgetting something there, but those are all the supply things. They go into your barrels, they go into crates. They'll come through with you to the other side, and you can start the Tall Tale, portal through, close the Tall Tale, come back through the portal, and you will be on a new server. So if you are being hunted down by a 5-bar Reaper who will not let you go, you can keep your emissary, you can keep your supplies, you can portal through, and you can still have everything, but it will delete any treasure that you have on deck. So be ready and willing to waste that if you are going to portal, and really only use this as a last-ditch effort, or perhaps if you are just doing Hunter's Call and treasure is not really that important to you right now. I hope that covers everything. Of course, I may have left something out here as a good way, or perhaps you yourself know a better way to escape a battle and keep your treasure safe. This is the most passive way I can think of to go about escaping your first of many battles that you will encounter. Personally, and this is just my own philosophy, I don't expect everybody to follow, I think you should turn and fight all the time. At this point in my Sea of Thieves survival, I turn and fight all the time because I feel like every PvP experience can teach you something new. One thing I do kind of frown upon is when a crew wants to actually take their treasure and ship out to the borders of the Red Sea and just completely delete everything and watch it, float off the server. Yeah, you can do that, and the other crew won't get what you have worked so hard to gain, but you've also lost everything and learned nothing. If you have the chance to turn and fight, do it. If you have a chance to run and keep your treasure, do it. But remember that the best way you're going to improve in this game is take PvP head on.
Anyway, guys, I hope that helps, and if you have any questions, leave it down in the video below. I'm 9 Plagues of the Burning Fish crew, and I made this video to just kind of help out some new players stay safe and not sunk in the land of Sea of Thieves. Have a good one.